Okay, I also just saw we have another incentive that just got opened. Later on the run from Flying Ludokodo, there is a snowman showcase in I Am Your Beast, and I heavily recommend you going for that. Um, we will see a couple more levels and we see a couple bonus snowmans, and I'm very excited for that. Do not forget to click the incentive when you send a donation. And with that, I think we're ready for the next run. Give it up for Lootbox Live, run by Dragon.
Alright, we should be good to go, I believe. So, hi, I'm Dragon, I'm going to be running Lootbox Life, and here I have my co-commentator, or not just commentator, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Leafy Luna or Estrella, and I'll be commentating the run as we go through it, and I hope you all enjoy. And whenever we're ready.
Yeah, this is a fairly information-heavy speedrun, so I won't be talking for the vast majority of it, I will be letting my commentator do the work. So, with that in mind, I think we're ready to go about whenever.
Okay, we should be ready anytime. Give us a countdown.
Alright.
And start whenever you're ready.
We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good luck, have fun.
As we start off here, we don't have the ability to do so much as move. The moment we hit the ground here, we can move, and the first thing we will want to do is get the ability to jump, which is right over here. Usually every time you pick up one of these loot boxes, you have to mash. In speedrun mode, this is disabled, and the first thing we will be doing is going over to pick up the double jump. So this generally is a bit of a Metroidvania platformer type game, and right over here, the first thing we want to get, the wall jump. And this works is that you go into so-called dark worlds. Here you see the wall world. Oh, all right. So in each dark world, all your abilities get taken away that are basic movement and jump, and you to use just your new ability with some bit of a gauntlet, so to say. I suppose to learn that you get to keep all abilities you gain permanently after you complete each dark world, except for in other dark worlds specifically. You'll be seeing some damage tanks here to go a little faster, something that will be very common. And after this, usually you would go to the next dark world to get the slam ability, allowing you to do somewhat of a ground pound jump like in Mario. This will be skipped using a dev-intended skip, which we will see pretty much the moment we're out of here. So essentially, there's a few mechanics in this game with jumping that are a little unintuitive, I would call them. One thing is that after you walk, or rather roll off a cliff, you keep your jump. And the other thing which will be utilized here is that you can do another mid-air jump if you did your initial ground jump next to a wall. Essentially, like it's only using your wall jump instead of using your ground jump. This will be utilized a lot here, for example, to save a bit of extra time by using slam jump. Unfortunately, we do seem to be slightly failing at that, but it is used a lot all over the run in some ways to make seemingly impossible jumps be quite doable.
Okay, that's how that should have gone the first time, roughly. The movement in that section is particularly tricky. Probably one of the hardest sections of the run, honestly.
This is certainly one of the hardest sections of the run, extremely mechanical, and just generally one of the most difficult sections, especially to learn as well. So let's go over just the general route of the run. Usually, to beat this game, you would need to get all of the abilities that this game has. However, we will only be getting a few of them. In particular, we will be getting the wall jump, which we've already gotten, the so-called loot box ability, which lets you turn into a loot box, like essentially making you smaller. You need to get the double jump, which you specifically need in order to get the dash. We will therefore be skipping the gem dash, brick break, and speed, which are essentially like a teleport, being able to break some bricks using your slam and somewhat of a sprint. This entire area, by the way, is on a cycle the moment you enter, which will be visible right here. It's not a particularly tight cycle, but we do make it.
Or you can do that.
Well, I suppose that's one way to lose time. Yeah, sure. So right up next, we'll be coming up on the loot box ability. Hopefully. And there's not really much to say until we get there, I suppose.
Does that mean there's a short moment for a donation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have $10 from Rufon towards the Snowman Showcase. $10 donation because I died during my run. Column 3. Good luck to all the runners. Trans rights. Thank you,
trans
Rufon.
rights.
And again, shoutouts to the Snowman incentive. There might be still 2 runs before that, but both of those runs are not too long. So keep that in mind and let's try to get that incentive.
Alright, so something you may have already seen here is so-called zips. In a lot of these areas where you are supposed to turn into a loot box, if there is a ceiling right above you before as well, you're able to perform what's known as a zip, which essentially moves you through the entire wall at once.
Like this.
You'll see another one right here. This will become a lot more important later. These are also called loot box clips in some situations, as they can be used not only to zip, but sometimes also skip entire walls, essentially. This will become very apparent in a minute, but first we will have to traverse a little more. These spikes particularly don't activate if you're in loot box mode, which is one of the reasons why this is required. The other is essentially these clips making one part of why it is possible to skip so much of the game. So this jump in particular here that we just saw is called the Sima jump, and it is one of the hardest parts of this entire run. Up next, we should be coming up on the next Dark World, which is the DJ Dark World for double jump.
Unfortunately, it does not stand for disc jockey. So missed opportunity, honestly.
Here we are resetting once to set up the cycle so that we can simply damage boost here.
Yeah, this area normally has boulders. We don't like those, so we just get rid of them and reset the cycle.
So here we will be coming up on arguably the hardest part of the game, though there is not much to say about it, really. It is simply a lot of movement and such, so we will have time for a few more donations here.
Okay, I want to talk about the incentive for the bid war again, for the Simpsons Hit and Run. On the stream, it only shows the top 3, but there is one more outfit. There is the Mumu one that we have, and it looks really funny. So you might want to consider donating for that one as well. Again, remember to click the incentive when you donate.
Alright, once again, a few times you will see us resetting area to set up some cycles to just get through the sections a little easier in some cases. In some cases it's just easier, in some cases it's a lot faster. Here we will be seeing Dragon use an ability that they don't have to stall in the air, interestingly.
Yeah, normally when you try to use an ability you don't have, you get frozen in place. And so in our case, we can use that there to air stall because it entirely resets our momentum.
Yeah, so here, just going through, once again, essentially the hardest part of the run. It is just difficult platforming. There's not really like much to it, but this is usually one of the last abilities you get in the run. Once again, this is the second to last ability we need to get. The only ability left to get now for us is the dash, which will allow us to do so-called dash loot box clips once we have it. We will see that pretty much as soon as we're coming from that. That is a very unfortunate death,
Yeah.
by the way.
You can get through this section without taking damage. It's just really, really tough. I risked it there, and unfortunately it didn't go as planned. But we carry on.
Yeah, so up next we will be coming up on the dash, which will allow us to do a lot of very interesting tech for movement, all of which will become important in the final section, which, interestingly, the final section you are supposed to have every ability. Since we don't have most of the abilities, we will be doing a lot of weird tech to try and get through each area, mostly clipping through a lot of places using the clips using the dash and loot box. Here, there's these lasers will stop you if you're not dashing, and essentially you're just trying to go as fast as you can, often damage boosting once again. And right as we exit off the dash, we will be coming up on the first instance of a so-called dash loot box clip. Essentially, when you're in a top right corner, you can often spam wall jumps, dashes, and loot box in order to clip through the wall. The exact reason this works, or the exact timings for it, aren't fully known yet, but usually you can make it pretty quickly by just spamming them like there. And here we will simply be moving out of bounds in order to make it to the screen transitions.
I don't know where the screen transition went. Hello?
You seem to have gone past it.
I
That
think
is
I may have
unfortunate.
gone past it because it doesn't extend all the way out when you're out of bounds. Like that. There. It's in a really awkward spot.
So this here, it is supposed to check that you have every ability. For each ability, you can open one of those doors. However, since we don't, we simply go through. This is the final area, and here, as we don't have all the abilities, we will be simply having to clip through things. Those spikes simply respawn you elsewhere, so that's very helpful. But pretty much our entire goal for this area is going to be to get to the best wall to clip through, except for here, where you can simply die and it spawns you out of bounds. How very
Yeah.
fun.
There's meant to be a checkpoint that you take, but if you just don't take the checkpoint, you just spawn out of bounds. I don't know why, but you just do.
So by
So-
simply going out of bounds, you can save a lot of time going above all these lasers and everything. So here you're supposed to take the egg. The game expects you to have taken the egg, so the egg is there even if you don't take it by clipping through. So this section in particular is arguably the hardest section of the game usually, and it gets even harder in theory thanks to the fact that we don't have all the abilities that we're supposed to have. So we will be seeing a lot of nice movement here that's been very well trained, and we will be seeing wave dashes, so to say, here, which are just a very fast way to move considering we don't have the sprint ability. It's... Oh. Okay. We made it. That's good. So, the run isn't that much longer, but we will just be seeing this little chase sequence with the dark balls following us.
Think of them like battle and chasers from Celeste. I don't
Yeah,
think they
pretty
have a cool lore reason for being that, though.
Unfortunately not. These bricks in particular are supposed to break when you slam on them to do slam jumps, but since we didn't pick up the brick break ability, as it is not one of them that is required if you're skipping parts of the game, that section arguably becomes easier, and we're on the final area where you're simply trying to just go as fast as possible.
I think
For
this
what
will
it's worth,
still... Will this belly be sub 12? I'm not actually sure. I don't think it will.
I think
that's belly sub 12.
There we go!
Time!
And that's time.
I think that might have belly been sub 12. Yeah. What happens at the end of that loot box? You don't have to do that for every single loot box, but we just have to do that one. But yeah, there we go. That's the run. No, not even close. Sub 12. Not even close.
Oh god, GG. We love arbitrary minute barriers. That was a nice run. Do you have any shoutouts that you want to make?
First, I want to shout out Conrad or Conradical for making the game. This game was made a while back and generally hasn't really been ran since like 2020, which is back when I ran it. But I thought I'd come back to the game and show it off here because despite being a really short run, it's really technical and is honestly quite a neat run. I want to shout out Snowball, who is the main brain behind everything you've seen in this run. It came up with the route, found DLCs. Generally, a lot of why this run is even happening at all is because of Snowball. And of course, I want to shout out my lovely commentator, Australia, for being here. Thank you very much. And everyone here at Archiethon.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be here, and I want to just say, like, I think that run was really amazing, and I think this was a very, very nice opportunity for everyone, and I hope everyone enjoyed. Shoutouts to everyone in chat, and shoutouts to Dragon for making this run possible. Shoutouts to the people behind the scenes, so to say, making everything possible, all the tech people and everything. And I hope you all enjoyed.